Hello students, welcome back to 3D modeling. Today we're going to work on our first 3D printable object, and that is going to be a little charm for our backpack. So this is something that you could attach with a string, maybe to your zipper, or maybe you want to make a necklace out of it or a medallion. Maybe you want to hang it from your parents' rearview mirror, however you want to do it, that's fine. So the first thing that I want to do is delete this character here, because this character oh, excuse me, this is a two-dimensional character. No matter how much I turn him, he just keeps facing me. So if I try to 3D print him, he has a thickness of 0 and my printer is going to freak out. So absolute first thing that we're going to do is delete this guy. Now for your backpack charm, I am giving you an acceptable area of 60 millimeters by 60 millimeters. Now, the way that I do this is I always make something 10 times bigger than what I actually want it. So I could do a circle, or I could do a square. I'm going to keep it simple and I'm going to do a square here. So I'm going to start making a rectangle. Now I haven't clicked to commit yet, so I've just clicked once, and you can see if I move the mouse around it's still movable. Down in the lower right hand corner you see dimensions. So right now this is 1677.36 millimeters by 1392, and what I want to do is control that. So I can try to just get it to go where I want it to, but that's going to be very difficult. So what I can do for accuracy is I can just, before I've clicked to commit, just start typing 600 mm, comma 600 mm, and then push enter, and then it will automatically make a 600 millimeter square. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and undo that so I can do it one more time. I'm going to start creating a rectangle. I'm going to click once to start it. And I'm not holding, I'm not dragging, I just clicked once. And then notice that I'm not clicking in the lower right corner, I just start typing 600 mm, comma 600 mm, enter. Okay, so there's my square. Now I'd like to raise it up. And I'm thinking I want my charm to be about 5 millimeters thick, so I want to make it 10 times bigger in here. So I'm going to start pulling, and again click once and start pulling. Now you can see I've pulled it up 250 already, but now I'm just going to type in 50 mm and push enter. You see that it snaps right to where I want it to go. So I'm going to triple click to make this a component. Everything's selected right now. I'm going to right click and say make this a component. I'm going to call this my backpack charm. And let's get in the habit of regularly checking to see if this is a solid object. So I'm going to go to the solid inspector. Good news, your model is solid. So that means we should be able to 3D print this right now. Now, I think this is going to be a very, very boring backpack charm. So let's go ahead and add some stuff to it. I'm going to go down here to the text tool. Now this is something that we haven't used yet. So I'm just going to put some initials here, just my name, JMP, that stands for Mr. Pessimio. I would like, actually I've never messed with the fonts in here, but I think there's a way to change that. I've never tried it. So I want the height of this to be, say, 500 millimeters, and I want the text extrusion to be, oh, let's say 100 millimeters. So the height is going to be the actual height of the letter, but the text extrusion is going to be how far out it comes. So there it is. We can see that's too big for my charm, so I'm going to go ahead and scale that down. And then I'm going to move it over here. And now I can see that it is lined up with my charm. So there are a couple different options right now for what I can do. If I try to print it like this, I'm not going to see it because it's totally flush with the face. So what I want to do is move this up along the x-axis. So it's either up like that or down. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. So now I can choose, do I want these letters to be raised or do I want them to be recessed? So if I want them to be raised, I can use the union button to say I want to add this to this. And now you can see that is one big component now. So let's go ahead and run the inspector to see if that has any issues. And I see right here, it's got some short edges, and we can say, show me where those short edges are. And I can't see where they are. Oh, probably right here on this side. Yeah, there's a tiny little edge right there. So that means that the printer might have a little bit of trouble printing this. That's okay. That means that that corner might not be as accurate as I would like. That's okay. We have a pretty nice 3D printer. Now, I actually don't want my letters to come up like this, so I'm going to undo that. And then what I'm going to do is use the subtract option. So now I've got these recessed letters here, and that's a little bit more of what I would like. So let's go ahead and run the inspector. And again, it says I've got 6 short edges. So like right here, right here, right here. There are a couple short edges. And again, our 3D printer can handle it. So that's also why we make it a lot bigger, because it lets us see the short edges a little bit better. Okay, so now I have this shape that I could possibly print this right now. However, I don't have a spot to tie a string to this. So let's go ahead and create one of those. So I'm going to unselect, and then I'm going to make a circular hole like this. Let's go ahead and pull that up. I'm going to triple click to make this a component. Oh, I have a staff meeting coming up. I'm going to make this a component, and I'm going to call this the puncher, not the Puchner. Puncher. Okay, so now if I want to make a hole, I'm going to just go ahead and move this over to where I want my hole to be. Yeah, that looks good. And then I can use the trim option. So I'm going to select the puncher first and then the punch E second. And the nice thing about the trim option is it saves my hole puncher for me. So now I can move this, and now I have a nice hole. The reason I wanted to save that is because I can also use hole punchers as little decorative objects. But actually I'd like to use a polygon prism. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I'm going to get some hexes. And again, triple click that, make it a component, and I'm going to call that hex puncher. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one so I don't accidentally try to print it. And then let's go ahead and move this one, and I'm going to put it kind of on the corner. But I do want to scale it up a little bit because I'd like it bigger. Move it down. Let's see. Maybe right here. A little bit lower. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and punch that hole right here, here, here. And then let's move this and do it again. And then move it again. You can see I'm starting to make a kind of fun shape here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and scale it down so I can get a smaller one. And let's move it here. And let's go ahead and punch that hole out again. And let's do one more at the top. This one will make this a little bit bigger. No, let's make it a lot bigger. Okay. Alright, so I think I've done enough damage here. And I think I've got a fun little honeycomb type project right here. Now I could spend some more time doing some more details here, but let's go ahead and click on this, run the inspector. Now again, it says I've got 6 short edges. I'm not super worried about that. I think we can print that just fine. So now I want to make sure that I save this. So I'm going to call this my backpack charm. I'm going to save it in my Google Drive. Sometimes this takes a second to pop up. Oh, there it is. Now I'm going to save this in my 3D modeling folder. And now I've got my backpack charm. Now, if you turn this in, we can make a file in order to 3D print it. I'd like you to try to make your own 3D printing file, and the way we do that is we go to export, and the thing that we want to export is an STL. So let's go ahead and export an STL. Now right here you'll see that I have this downloaded. If you're on a Chromebook, this will be in your downloads folder, so you'll want to attach that to your Google Classroom assignment. The other way we can do this is we can say export OBJ is the other type of file that we can 3D print. So I can say export me an OBJ. And then we have some options here, but I'm just going to say go ahead and just export. My model has been sent to the cloud for processing. We'll notify it when it's complete. Yeah, so this is a slightly more complicated version. Okay, it says it's ready. View exports. There it is, and so I can download it here. So this is a little bit more complicated. I would stick to the STL. That's going to make your life a little simpler. So go ahead and submit those files, and we will get your 3D print started as soon as we can.